In response to a request from party leaders to discuss the new tariffs imposed by the United States, President Kumar Dissanayake convened a meeting with party leaders today. The meeting, held at the President's office, was attended by opposition leader Sachit Premadasa and several other opposition party leaders. The discussions focused extensively on the economic impact of the recently announced US tariffs and the necessary steps to mitigate these effects. President Dissanayake briefed the party leaders on the findings of the committee appointed to investigate the impact of the new US tariff policy and the measures taken by the government so far.
මෙවැනි තත්ත්වයක් ඇතිවීම පිළිබඳව රට තුලත් රටින් පිටස්තරවත් විශාල සාකච්ඡාවක්.
There has been much discussion both locally and internationally regarding this situation. However, it seems no one anticipated the full scale of its impact. In preparation, we maintained close ties with the US Embassy in Sri Lanka and engaged in talks about the domestic measures we intended to take. When it came to international matters, the embassy handled discussions with the relevant institutions abroad. The decision on tariffs emerged from weak consultation processes and not been involved in those key discussions. These tariffs were imposed based on a formula created unilaterally. Now Sri Lanka faces the challenge of managing both the US imposed tariffs and the commitments under the extended fund facility with IMF, requiring a careful balancing act. Accordingly, I sent a letter to President Trump, and the Ministry of Finance also issued a letter addressing concerns beyond the general context. That is the current status. Our primary objective is to reduce the trade gap between the United States and Sri Lanka. Secondly, it is essential to identify and address the challenges posed by the imposed tariffs. To strengthen our market access, we must enter free trade agreements. The global market has evolved. It is no longer a model where production happens in one country and consumption in another. Today, the production process operates as an interconnected chain across countries.
The committee's findings and the proposals from the opposition parties were discussed in detail. The President's media division said that the discussions also covered proposals for negotiations with the US government and strategies for diversifying export destinations. It was decided to consolidate the recommendations from the committee and the proposals from the opposition for further discussion.
The discussions were successful and positive. Our views and the President's views were largely aligned on addressing this issue. The President mentioned that he had written a letter to President Trump regarding the trade deficit reduction plan. The opposition did not present significantly different views. However, I emphasized the need to break down barriers and build bridges to integrate the country with the world, which the President acknowledged. We believe that the 90-day period is sufficient to resolve this issue. We handed over our proposals to the President and requested regular updates on the progress, either in Parliament or through a committee. The previous government imposed the cess tax to benefit certain businessmen and millionaires. We expressed our stance on this matter. All opposition parties have agreed to support the President in this situation.